I'm proud to say to you, in this year alone, we have sent more than 60 students coming from this community in different tertiary institutions, including Wits.
Shout out to them. Rolling with my boy Upraswe, grammar school.
I'm good.
Yeah. How do you feel about the interview and
I think it's going to be like a special episode. And after the conversation that we had, when we obviously could continue what we had.
Yeah, it's great content.
It's great content.
Yeah.
We're still going to be able to recap on this kulubeng up.
Yeah. As he's saying, guys, lana sivakashele isenta ebizwa nge-UIB. It's a center engakithi la eSweetwater. So we just came to visit and find out ukuthi basebenza kanjani and yini abayimisele ngayo ngomphakathi wethu waseSweetwater. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce Mr. CEO yakhona uNduzu. Unjani my brother?
Ngiyaphila kakhulu mfowethu.
Siyabonga ukusamukela kwakho. Without nje ukushona le mali besifisa nje ukwazi nje ngawe because njengomuntu okuyena umphathi wale ndawo, I'm sure you are the vision, probably the brain of the idea. Bengifisa nje siphe nje a slight background yakho ukuthi ukuze ube la ukhona. Where do you come from?
Ngiqale ukuthi Mbongeni Zuma. Ngokuzalwa ngizalelwe ePendle, you know, umuzalelwe on a very subhuman family. You will really be sensitive on izinto ezithinta intuthuko yabanye abantu because now you are coming from a same background and you are coming from a space where you had nothing. So ukuzalwa kwami ngizalelwe ePendle. Ngasuka eMpendle ngeza on this side ngifunde kule ndawo kade emabani at kuseyisikole at that time. Now we've turned it into a youth center and one of izinto ade zihlezi njalo zi-critical kumina ekade ngihlezi ngizibuza zona mhlambe without mentioning much, I joined a political space at the age of 14 years when at that time Obudabadala mesamba nabo bethi angithi ngina 18 because at that time it was not a legal age to join politics. But I joined politics at that stage. I get very highly conscious about izinto that were happening around me and I get highly agitated on issues of injustice, poverty and unemployment. Fast track, I went into a space kamina kumbula ngesikhathi kunenkinga ye-HIV isenafika. Then there was an organization called Treatment Action Campaign, namanje I think it's called. When is introduced in a space of Mgundu, I was one of the organizers of that time. India is being an activist, being in front of Amamashis and all of those things. And you know, I wish I can share that with young people at some point in time. So we grow up in that space up until they introduced us into a training of fundraising, a training of mobilizing resources. Then we started to interact with different people across the world on issues of fundraising and all of those things. Then I went to a space in 2007. I went to a space where I started to open my own NPO, which is at that time when it was open, it was Umzansi Youth in Construction, Property and Manufacturing. It was more of a sectoral organization. We work with it was launched by the Department of Economic Development in KwaZulu-Natal. Ngaleso sikhathi MEC wakhona kwakuwubaba uMichael Mabuyakhulu. Then at that time, we were looking on a space on saying, how do we place young people at a sense of construction or a sector of infrastructure, sense of property, and sense of manufacturing?
And that's one sector abantu abasha abangayinaki. Is it because mhlambe sibona kumsebenzi ongcolayo ngobheka?
Not really. Sector itself, is a very close sector. It's a very close sector because it needs so much income.
Yeah.
So ours was to say, let's unblock izinto ezikhona. We went and proposed in different sectors, different incubators into them. But while we're doing that work, we were approached by the KZN government to say, you guys are doing quite well on this space, because at that time we assisted young people ababefuna ukuthi bavule different entities through Airtel and Transnet for them to get machine like a toilet paper manufacturing machine, fencing, nails, and all of those things. We assisted young people, and unfortunately we were unable to get them to get into the space to produce, because there's some other issues, like social issues that young people were facing at that time, such as substance abuse and other issues that were there. Then we were then approached by the KZN government to say, guys, can't you go to a space where you deal with young people in a holistic way? Then we were then forced to go 2017 to say, okay, let's move from being Umzansi Youth in construction, property and manufacturing to be Umzansi Youth in business. Now we're looking at the holistic development of a young person.
Is this around 2007?
2017.
Oh.
We started the NPO in 2007.
Yeah.
Then we moved up until 2017, where we were then approached to say, can we change our focus? Yeah. At that time, menzuthi niyakhumbula kahle bekuhlanganiswa izikole. So kuhlanganiswa izikole ama-lower primary nama-higher primary and all of those things. Unfortunately, this facility that we are in now was part of that. It was left vacant, and abantu were consuming substances, bayishisa and all of those things. Then we approached Nkosi and say, hey, Ndaba Ezitha, Nkosi Uzonke, and we say, Ndaba Ezitha, we've got this idea to say, we want to open a sense of hope, a center where young people can come, get skills,
develop themselves,
and also a space where we'll hire social workers to deal with substance abuse and all of those things. And Ngozi look at this idea and say, yeah, you can try it. Where would you get funding? We look around, scratch our heads until we went and approached the Department of Social Development, Kakula's MEC cause, and said, MEC, can you assist us on this? And then MEC assisted us on that to get funding to run programs. Currently, the center is running 3 programs. One of the programs that we're running programs on substance abuse prevention program. We are running a program, what they call it, a social and behavior change on HIV programs, which got 10 sets of programs. Then the key part is what I love most, is youth empowerment. On youth empowerment, it's where we focus on youth mobilization, where we have youth dialogues, dialogues on democracy, dialogues on business, citizenry, and all of those things. We also have programs on youth skills development, which are separated into 2, where we run life skills which is your character buildings, your resilience, and all of those things. On the other side, you are dealing with vocational trainings, your plumbing, your electricity, and all of those things, your IT, because IT on our side, we think it's the next economy.
It's the next big thing. It already is the big thing.
Yes. Currently, we were debating with our team that one of our team members no longer writing content using his brain, is now using what we call the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So
ChatGPT.
It's a tool that is built on what we call the AI, which is an artificial intelligence, which is the next big thing. But we want to also to see young people playing parts on what we call the blockchain, the Internet of Things, and other
crypto.
And other technological aspects that come with the fourth industrial revolution.
Because any into with what you say with the EIT, like you're trying to build that sector. What's in like there's even jobs. So it's like you're checking online, there's jobs. Those jobs they require open in fiber, and then you come to Indow in the Witwatersrand, and then you say Lomoto is gonna get paid 5,000. So all of 5,000, don't you think he got now 500 with fiber? And to say with this job. So if even the IT industry involved in such areas, it can contribute even to
Yeah, you are correct, but what we need to fight for and what we need to advocate for is the universal access into data. If we can have a universal access into data and connectivity, there is so much that we can unlock in a digital economy. Unfortunately, people who live in Witwatersrand, people who live here at Mbongeni, people who live at Umzansi, they don't have the same access than people who lived in Scotland of connectivity and quality of connectivity. So we really need to struggle that kind of universal access to such. But fortunately, in this center, you are able to connect in Wi-Fi unlimitedly. You are able to use our computers unlimitedly and able to make copies and print your work unlimitedly. But unfortunately, not every community can have such access.
Usalapho nje bese I want to ask ukuthi with abantu abakhona ukuthola usizo lana, do you see them having a certain progress? No, it's still early stages, mawubheka, with any help abathola like
asiqale ngokuthi when we came in to operate this center, we had 3 schools around us, which is Sianda, Msimunde, and Zima. Around these 3 schools, Msimunde was sitting at that particular time at 46% pass rate. And currently, Msimunde is sitting at 86% on the pass rate. Because Ingane, they are able to come from Msimunde, come here, do research, and print and do their homeworks within the facility. That is one. But 2, when we came in as an intervention in this community, as it is called, young people, they didn't have access into tertiary education. I'm proud to say to you, in this year alone, we have sent more than 60 students coming from this community in different tertiary institutions, including Wits.
Shout out to the organization.
So this kind of this access, unfortunately, we don't have it in other communities. Currently, if you come in this center afternoon, every day afternoon, you'll find not less than 200 kids studying for their matric exam.
Wow.
Every day, like literally every day. So we are saying it's this kind of access that we are saying young people must have. But we still have recently we did run a program, youth road construction. We enroll about 200 into the program. Successfully, about 180 into the program. Now, we wanted to formulate them into cooperatives, and we called them into the meeting. Only 5 of them came into that kind of the program.
Out of 180?
Out of 108.
Do they have like valid excuses? Or
they've looked at the certificates and they went for employment.
They saw employment.
They say employment.
When they see that qualification.
Yes. And for us, the vision was much bigger.
Yeah.
We wanted to formulate them into cooperatives. Then goes to different construction companies and say, can you go to JV? Can you go to partnership with these young people so that they can employ other young people? Because they themselves have the skill, which is a privilege, than any other young person who can be working in a construction space. Unfortunately, young people didn't see that way. And unfortunately, at least 40% of them are now employed by big construction companies, but unfortunately, it didn't do what we intended.
The main purpose.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what would it take? Because sikula from abazali bethu to our grandparents, we usually grow with the mentality of work for somebody. What would it take for us to break out of the mindset? Because most of it is stuck up. Somebody
you know that will need the entire day. But because we don't have a day, we'll try and break it down in these limits that we have. One, it will need to be an education from home. It needs to start from home, to say. We need to teach ourselves that no one will give you enough money than the money that you have worked for yourself.
And the money you can make for yourself.
And the money that you can make for yourself. Asiqale ngokuthi i-education leyo oyithola esikoleni fake compliment ama-teachings aqhamuka kubazali bakho. If i-education eqhamuka esikoleni kuyiyona yodwa, it's bound to mislead you. Okusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi i-culture yokuzisebenza fake si-instile emakhaya.
Because if you notice with white people, so usesikoleni ufundela mhlambe he's doing the cause as related to imisebenzi mhlambe business or
that's okay.
Yeah. So asiqale ukuthi first siqale silungise i-mindset yasekhaya yokuthi asim-encourage umntwana ukuthi why uyofunda i-accounting, but do you know that you can be an accountant,
have your own accounting firm,
and own your own accounting firm. Let's make ingane zethu to dream beyond employment. But it has to start from home. I'll make you a practical example. I've got a son who's doing matric this year. What we have started because now what we have started a conversation that says, ufuna ukwenzani? And he said, no, I want to be an event person or to run an event company. And I said, okay, it's fine. I will open a business for you for event. And I've bought a sound that he operates now.
Yeah.
Why is that? I want him to understand the entire event value chain before he even enter into the college or the university. So that when he comes back, at least if he's not employed by a bigger company like a Big Beats and all of those things, but at least he can go back and run his company at a smaller scale.
Yeah, create a smaller company.
So it's really a matter of charity ekufanele iqale kuphi ekhaya. If someone wants to go and study anything that talks to agriculture, we need to have a smaller garden at home. You know, if kufanele afuye inkukhu, kufanele at least abe nayo inkukhu ezimbili entathu ekhaya. You know, it has to start from
practical experience.
Yes, because asikwazi bethu that you wake up in the morning, you wake up, suddenly you just wake up, you switch geologist. Kanti ungathanda umhlabathi. So kufanele uqale uthande umhlabathi. Then you will understand the challenges of umhlabathi. Uma uthanda umhlabathi. You can't be in construction. Even if you're a civil engineer, at least you should have a certain idea of yes. So we need to get into that particular space. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to complain. We slowly get into a phase. Now we can't complain about apartheid. No, we can't. We shouldn't. We can't. Because we're going to now.
And then you've seen some of your peers without even complain about the government where apartheid. It's good wrong for us until we can complain about apartheid. And one thing you are helping your son with the sound system, just to be in tune with the career path. I think in level of parenting, man, it's different because Tina gets says, Umzansi, can you understand? It's okay. I'll guess what? I understand it, but it's fair. Okay, man, this generation is closing this gap. Those are your assist identifying a good person because they need that with identify and then we had to do everything from scratch.
You know, currently we are talking that there is a South African artist who's now a billionaire. What are you doing? He's now a billionaire based on music, right? Okay, we can say no, there's a disadvantage. We want to have an apartheid government. You know, we're still oppressed, but. Swekanjani to be coffee abe billionaire in the same space
with one hand.
With one hand. So
we are supposed to like kanjani,
you know, it's playing a bit. Nayi people like liyafana nomfana ophandayo kwimanje, you know. So all we need is correct infrastructure, opportunity. And resources, just simple.
But sisaqhubeka nje sikhuluma ngayo isenta. Ngifisa ukwazi like the campaigns because I remember before ivulwe there's a time where you guys went up lapha entabeni to go pray. And luckily I was part of you guys ngahamba nami ngalelo langa. And I saw ukuthi okay lento enihlanganisayo like it's very visionary. Sengifisa ngezwe ukuthi kunama-campaign amanye kade sazokwenzeka. Imaphi lawo ama-campaign esemke nawaphusha like out to the public?
You know, ever since Isentibeko, you'll notice even online, we've run a huge campaign on gender-based violence. Why we wanted to run that campaign? La nje eMzansi khona ingane yakamnculu to akhona. He was killed by umfana wala iphezulu in fact walapha muzo kufika ngasemabani kuleta side yasebhodini. So when sifica ingane akhona ulele embedeni after eshawa umfana wazombulala, and umfana wabaleka, then we managed to destroy umfana, and uma esefika umfana simbuzo uthi what happened to your mind? He said, you know, it's unfortunate that now you are here asking me all these questions, but you were not there for akhona umkadedinga izinto. Akhona begqokiswa yimina, bethengelwa yimina ama-sanitary pads, bethengelwa yimina izinto zokugcoba, yonke into bethengelwa yimina. And angisho ukuthi ngi-proud njengoba ngibulele, kodwa nami ngenza ekade ngingakwazi ukuthi ngikwenze ukuze ngivikele ukuthi ngingahlukani nomuntu esengi-investe imali eningi kangaka ngiyena. Then it made us question ukuthi how many girls out there are fairly on relationships because asehleli to sustain themselves, and bangaki abantu besifazana abahlunyezwayo ngenxa yokuthi they can't afford basic things like ama-sanitary pads. That's why we went to SPA KZN into a drive of assuring that every month abantu abasha besifazane they get dignity packs. We are running the campaign. We have run a drive of sanitary pads and sanitary pad. We walked from here in Witwatersrand to Igagasi FM studios. Yes, walking. It was a walk it was a 3-day walk. We walked like literally.
How's it like?
It must be fulfilling because you do it for a great cause.
Yeah, it was fulfilling because in intersasfunity we say all, you know, you must enjoy pain abantu abayithola every day. You know, we thought to ourselves to say, you know, as funuti sitting from the point of privilege to say, we can feel your pain. We wanted to feel it on the ground.
From a point of privilege. So experience I found.
So we ran that campaign. We drove a huge campaign on saying Sekwanele.
I remember this was cool.
Yes, we were joined by different lobby groups in a way that we even allowed it to be used by other NPOs because in this space we always believe that in development there is no competition.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Is the program continuous? No,
isenzeka namanje. Isenzeka kube manje. Currently, we've got in-house, we've got 2 social workers who are dealing with the issues of substance abuse and the issues of gender-based violence. When people are affected by those things, they come here and get certain reliefs. It's either they are referred into white door centers. Issues zengane were able to refer them into different help that abasebenzi wedinga or in different relief abasebenzi ngaleso sikhathi. But now the biggest campaign that we want to be in, we are looking on rolling out a skills development at a scale that has never been seen before. In this financial year that is starting, we are looking on putting 1,200 young people into skills development, on renewable energy, on construction and all of those things, so that we're now trying to ensure that we come with tangible solutions into this. We are also planning on putting 250 beneficiaries on incubator, which is about 75 companies into tangible incubator. We are buying material, we are buying tools for young people, and also provide them with mentors to say how to, and link them with markets on those tools. Surely we are hoping that on digital, you guys can be part of our entities that we can mentor and get more tools so that we keep on growing this kind of movement.
I love the initiative. Like I love the drive onayo, and to see abantu nje abakhona lana emagcekeni la, they are alive mfethu, uyabona ukuthi these people, they have a purpose konke abayivukelayo every day. So looking like into the future yayo isenta ngiyizwe ukubalile lokunye okubalayo, what other like mountains nitsafuna ukuzikhwela as the center? Because you never know, maybe someone might be listening ngaphandle lapho.
Yeah. You know, space is all. We really believe on a concept of higher education led by Dr. Mbongeni Zuma. If we're to drive its development, we have to drive it from the community. Yeah. We really believe that each and every community must have its own community college. We are hoping that this center will be, at some point in time, an artisan space or an artisan academy, where you come in, you get trained in all technical skills, but you come out here with your trade license. But you don't just come out here with a trade license on. You come out with a trade license because we are Umzansi Youth in Business, and also went through a new venture creation into a space where you are able to register your own business, and understanding that this certificate is not just the paper, but it's your license to self-employment or employment. That's where we want to go. But also, as any other organization, we want to master this model and replicate it across the country. If it happens, we believe that this nature of organization is needed in Africa. Is needed in Africa. We really need to find a space where we go and rebuild Zimbabwe. We really need to find a space and time to go rebuild Swaziland, to go and rebuild Lesotho. And we need this kind of model in building those countries, because South Africa cannot be free until the entire Africa is free.
Nicely put. In that one,
I believe with your councillor, it's depend on the people of that particular ward or that particular space, and unfortunately, up until now, no one have approached me to stand as a councillor. But going forward, we'll look at it.
I heard that it will be great because you can already see the vision.
Yeah, he's a visionary.
This youth center corner. if you go somewhere else and there's some FETs, and then I like this idea as in because it's gonna like create more skilled people around the community into other skill now. It's very innovative. I like.
And one other reason why you be cancelled. Like you said before, you also got involved in politics. And the way you know, like, that the needs of umphakathi, you know how to operate lama spaces abantu government. So you'd be like a great candidate in that. No, with the vision. And your vision is young. Your vision is young.
Let's get it. Many conversation in is the conversation of democracy. Because immediately I talk of development, you have already took me back and categorized me into a space of politics. You know, South Africa is in a very serious crisis of the collapse of democracy. There is only which is a party politics, which is an element of democracy. But citizenship is not yet participating in terms of democracy. So what we need to get into a space where us as citizens, we are able to participate in democracy. We are able to participate in government decision making. That's why I was saying to you, what we are doing here is part of what government should be doing in society. But unfortunately, the fact that there is only Umzansi Youth in business that is doing this, it shows that citizenry or I'm a citizen, a country, they seem to not understand their role in government. They think that a certain political party must deliver development to them. And unfortunately, it's them that need to be hungry for development and go seek development. And that's not the role of the council. It's the role of citizen to go and look for that development. You know, currently we are in a space where we push young people to go and register to vote in digitally. And I meet young people and ask them, have you registered to vote? No, IEC have not opened up for that. And I'm saying no. No, you have to register digitally, and unfortunately the space for national election for you to register to vote is about to close. And they're saying, what should I vote for? And I'm saying to them, you might not see the need to vote, but you must understand that the rights to vote did not come to you free. There are people who died for it. Why they were dying to vote?
To make a difference.
They were not dying to vote for them to have houses. They are not dying to vote for them to have toilets and all of those things, to have food parcels and all of those. No, they were dying to vote so that they will have a voice. Unfortunately, for people to have a voice, the voice, it's only through ballots. But we can have a voice through proper action, writing to government, petitioning government, and all of those things. Sisakhuluma la amakhansela uthi omunye, you know, ukhansela wangakithi is untouchable and you cannot remove him. And I've said, No. Councillors can remove if a misconduct, you can remove councillor within 3 months. Because the first thing to do, if councillor is not doing well, which is we petition the office the councillor, speaker. From there, we start putting collecting signatures. Then we remove the council. We're done. So we are in a space, unfortunately, of young people that seems to know much according to social media, on Twitter. Everyone is the master of everything. But most of social now, young people, they seem to not understand even on this democracy that democracy is not enough with political parties.
That's just a smaller part.
That's just a smaller part. That's why we've got organizations like AfriForum. AfriForum will make government to do things. Helen Susan Foundation, they make government to do things. Section 27, they will make government to do things without them aligning themselves with politics. So you really don't need politics to do some of the things. But unfortunately, for our government to continue to work, unfortunately, we have to continue to vote. And also, we need also to be very, very careful when voting. You know, if at some point in time we decide that there are 10 parties and we split ourselves into 10 parties, the only party that will be able to win election is the party that will be voted by the most people. But unfortunately, as imremnyama asifuna ukufunda ukuthi kuzobaleka ukuthi sina split kakhulu ngenxa yokuthi those abasabaphatha izwe, they will keep on bephethe izwe uma thina senze njani sisplitha kakhulu,
divide and conquer.
So that's why mina nawe first sibuze currently ungasuthi ufuna funding business, ufuna ukuvula business kunzima ukuyithola. Why kulula ukuthola funding if you have opened a political party?
So it's going to be easy to divide the black vote.
Yes. That's the only purpose. If these people, Abasaba political parties, they had an interest at heart to build these countries, why they are not building schools? Why they are not building factories? Why they are funding, they've got interest to fund political parties with millions of rands. But not have money to fund the building of factories in township, to keep us divided, so that we divide this vote of the black vote, so that a certain kind of vote will eventually be in power.
And if we not have a division, there's never going to be a common ground, because this political is going to have an idea.
And if it's more complex, it's slight differences. See, that point is I want us to go into kakhulukazi iqhaza umphakathi omele udlale once after we have elected i-councillor, once after sekukhona lapho kuthiwa bayi-ward committee. Yiliphi iqhaza kumele sidlale as umphakathi?
Asiqale ngokuthi ukhansela uyi-voice yomphakathi. Unfortunately, ukhansela eSouth Africa sebenzisa le nto kuthiwa proportional representation. That means ukhansela formed a part of a certain political party. Okusho ngaso sonke isikhathi umeya wecouncil uhlala ngokwe-view ye-political party yakhe. Okay. But ake sikubuyisele emuva. You get into a space where usune ward committee. I-ward committee ngokomthetho akufunzile ku-ward committee ukuthi kuba khona i-area engekho represented on the ward committee. But also akufunzile kwi-ward committee ukuthi khona interest engekho represented on the ward committee. Why is it so? Because each and every member of a ward committee, let's say, ngihlala kwi-ward committee nge-represent youth. All youth organizations and all youth formations within the ward, ngiqale mina ngihlale nawo before ngohlala no-councillor. And ngihambe ngohlala no-councillor, sengihlala no-councillor with the view esengiyitholile from the constituents. Uma uthi ngimele religion, kufanele ngihlala nawo wonke ama-religious organization within the ward and go and inform councillor about izinto ezikhona. Then councillor will have to package that submission in what we called a community-based plan. A community-based plan which is views and wonke ama-interest, wonke ama-area, and then we prioritize them. Then that submission has to find expression in what we called an IDP, which is an integrated development plan. Isithole expression on the IDP, then from time to time it will have to get in, because most IDP priority. Priority 1, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. In this area, this is priority 1. But what is important for us as citizens is to ensure that we keep councillor and his political party accountable to his manifesto and our priorities that we have put in the community work plan. And unfortunately, Tina sigcinana no councillor lesikhathi simvotela. Then we hope ukuthi councillor will carry out ama-task the entirety. Kanti no, each and every month we need to ask the councillor, how far with our priorities? Where are you now? And we need to touch base with his ward committee and our representation of different interests. Ukuthi uma thina sasithe sport field as young people, how far have you gone with our sport field?
We need updates.
Yeah, updates. We keep you accountable. Unfortunately, we have made it acceptable that people will be elected into power. We don't keep them accountable, but we must blame the entire political party. We fail to keep someone that we voted here
at the local level.
At the local level.
How do we hold the Afi Forum where we hold the bigger fish accountable?
But you promised to put njalo kuzoba soccer tournament. There is no soccer tournament now. Where is soccer tournament?
And kwezinye indawo ama-soccer tournaments akhona ubona ukuthi kuyagcwala and there's support. Kodwa umphakathi u-active, even to not active in sports.
Imagine ngibuze usalapha kwi-ward committee. Is it it's meant to be democratical. Ukuthi when you as a councillor usungenile, you're creating yourself a ward committee. Should it be a ward committee? Should it be abantu abasuka party yakho, or is it much wiser ukuthi ubaxube with also ama opponents akho okadurana nawo?
Do you know what the ward committee khethwa?
No.
Okay.
Njengavele ngibuza la.
Yeah. I-ward committee ikhethwa njengokhethwa councillor. It's unfortunately with the process yakhona iranwa i-office kaSipho. Into ezalayo kubizwa umphakathi wonke. Umphakathi do ama-nomination, speaker call for ama-nominations. Kunominate bese create ballot. Bese umphakathi ngokwama-voting districts ekuyindawo lezi ikhungo lezi esivota kuzona. Umphakathi uvote ukuthi mhlambe so sekunabantu abawu-10 kwi-sport uvotela ukuthi wona ufuna abani kulabantu abawu-10. So sekunabantu abawu-10 kwe-religion ukuthi kulabantu abawu-10 ufuna abani. Kunabantu abawu-10 kwi-art and culture kulabantu abawu-10 ufuna abani. Then kunabantu abawu-10 kwi-infrastructure kulabantu abawu-10 wona ufuna abani. Bese ukuthi othole amavoti amakhulu kunabo bonke uyena osuke sezohlala kanjani esehlala. It's unfortunate ukuthi ke ngenxa yokuthi i-message isuyiconveywa ukhansela utshela amalunga eparty yakhe ukuthi akuyona nominator bese vele thina sesazi ezumphakathi sesazi ukuthi siqedile ngale process yokhansela okusho ukuthi vele aselendawo ukhansela yena uzosikhethela i-ward committee kanti kuyenzeka ukuthi i-ward committee ngifuna ukwenzela nje recently la ward 2 sibe ne-by-election kwawina ukhansela weparty ehlukile than iphathi adikhona but i-ward committee ezoqhubeka isebenze yile kade isebenza nokhansela or previous right but now ukhansela is the chairperson of this ward committee ngoba umthetho is a chairperson unless they resign is a chairperson of this ward committee and this ward committee should keep council accountable on behalf of umphakathi because uma sisela ise ukhansela seyena ukhansela weqembu lakhe use ukhansela lomphakathi wonke onamaqembu amaningi akhona and unfortunately ukhansela cannot say akazosebenza naleli lunga le-ward committee ngenxa yokuthi aliyona ilunga lephathi yakhe. It's unfortunate that as umphakathi we don't want to educate ourselves with that particular process but kahle we really need to keep everyone accountable and unfortunately ukumkhipha accountable umkhipha ukwenza lokho uyingxenye ye-organization yakhe noma ungayona ingxenye ye-organization yakhe because when eseyikhansela kaseyona ikhansela yephathi yakhe akasezokwenza izinto ezithandwa yiphathi yakhe kuphela usezokwenza izinto ezithandwa umphakathi because is now ikhansela lomphakathi and ungammiya as ukhansela ngilunga lenye inhlangano kufanele ukuthi ukhansela bengenza into ngimtshele ngimmele and i-expectation yami ukuthi mekukhona ama-services engiwadingayo awadelive knowing very well ukuthi ngibelonga kwenye iphathi that's how i-democracy isenza khona but ngiyafisa ukuthi ngingene kule ye-proportional representation because it also create problems. Do you know that kuyenza ukuthi ukhansela akhethwe namhlanje la uphele 5 years engakaza asho ukuthi ukhansela engakaza akhulume nabanye
and the council ihlangana every week angithi
i-council ihlangana yenza isihlangana every month but engakaza asho lutho kwi-council. Do you know how i-council inama-parties ahlukene okusho ukuthi each and every party iyahlala ibe ne-caucus yayo before i-council right uma isihlalile i-caucus yadecide ukuthi kuzokhuluma usibanibani uzoraise a motion usibanibani uzosupporta usibanibani uzokwenza ukuthi then ukhansela wakho angama aphikisane ne-development efayenzeke ewadini yakhe uma ukuthi position yeqembu lakhe ayihambisani naleyo proposal.
Why would you do that?
No, akakhethiwe as ukhansela ekhethwa iward. Ukhethwe on behalf of a certain political party. It's called proportional representation. That means uma ithi political party. Let's say la before kwama toilet. Bese akhiwa uqembu A. No. Abaphakathi akho masipala othile. Then bese uthi uqembu A before kwakhiwe embali kulungiswe ama-street lights by the same masipala. Mese ukhansela uqhamuka kuqembu B lapho nekufaka khona ama-toilets kodwa iqembu lakhe line position ukuthi kufanele kofakwa ama-street lights kwenye indawo yena uzophikisana nokuthi kufakwa ama-toilet kule ndawo akhethwe yona and divert to the area because it's a position of a party. is not his position and cannot defy the position of the party, because in party, if a party can take a decision to remove them, if a party can remove that particular person, because that person will stand on behalf of a party. That when you go to election, you look at the party and you look far less from the candidates. Because in the end of the candidate, as vocal as that candidate may be, if your party got no interest of your aim, your councillor will do nothing, because the party that you are voting for got no interest of the particular area. So it's very important that you look at that. Let's say you vote for a party that has got the interest for indawo zase madolobheni, but you're endaweni yasemakhaya. Noma nje uyathanda. Will be adding numbers of people ekufanele bavote ukuthi intuthuko ayiyendlela zasedolobheni. You know, lehle khona currently indawo eningi zinemigaqo konke. Do you know why? Because at a certain point in time, kwakukhona uhulumeni ne-council ehambisanayo ukuthi akuthuthukiswe indawo zasemakhaya. But do you know what's in inkinga khona? Edolobheni we started to see ama-potholes. Do you know why? Imali ekwakufanele ngama-potholes ekwakufanele kulungiswe ngawo umgaqo wasedolobheni ya-reprioritize yazokwakha imigaqo yasemakhaya laba bengenayo qobo imigaqo, right? Kodwa the same people abahlala emakhaya ibona abalwisa uhulumeni bathi yindaba kunama-pothole edolobheni, sebekhohliwe ukuthi bathathe imali yokwakha imigaqo edolobheni ezigosizabona emakhaya. So it's all those things. Unfortunately, you have to balance. Currently, we've got a problem of electricity, which is a national problem.
Yeah.
But do you know what's over the news? It's us, the people.
Yeah.
But let's look at the priorities. You get into government 1994. Go 1996, you get information that amandla ageso now awanele ukuthi angasupply South Africa. When you are voted by abantu abafuna ukuxhuma ugesi, what do? Do you unamasinga amabili? Yokuqala ukuthi uyama ungabafakela abantu bakho abavudelile ugesi. Uqala ulungise i-power which could take you 6 to 10 years. Or uthi no, okay, it's fine. Uma uthi awunele angifakele wonke umuntu ugesi bese sisafarisha sonke bese sisakha fonde. Which one did you choose?
Yeah, I'd go with the second one. Because the first one, you ungakwenza ukuthi okay, asiqale sakha ama-power stage, but you wouldn't last this 10 years in a power stage. Mhlambe ngenza sebekhiphi ukuthi into wasithembisele igcine ingafika.
Ukhumbule ukuthi ngalesikhathi uthi wena wakha ama-power stage unyusa ugesi. Lo kade na ugesi uyaqhubeka le privilege ukuba nogesi ongekho interrupted. Lo kade ngenawo ugesi uyaqhubeka nongaminawo ugesi. Ingakho mina kungiphatha kabuhlungu uma ngizwa abantu bakithi kuyibona bakhala kakhulu ngokhanjelwa ugesi. Kodwa imali engasetshenziswa billions and billions of rand yafakwa ukuthi connectwele bona ugesi. Mina sinawe yakhumbula nje sihlala la eSwitwater. Kwakukhona isikhathi kwakukhona idebate ethi uma uhlala endlini yodaka ngeke ufakele ugesi. Because ugesi awungena endlini yodaka. Kwazi kwakho iplan ukuthi kufanele ufakwe inigxobo zagesi. Because ugesi kwakuthiwa kufanele kwakuthiwa uzofaka ugesi waphansi, and ugesi waphansi unfortunately uyohlala endlini yodaka namhlanje thina sinani sikhuluma isikhala kakhulu ngecrisis ya-Eskom. Kodwa ku-Eskom ube kwi-crisis ngenxa yokuthi kufanele thina ugesi uma abantu basehilton bekhala babe uthola ugesi sikhala kakhulu kodwa thina kunabo.
But you have to cut us some slack. I think it's because they own the media space. See, they're gonna broadcast these problems, and then see, not so assimilated to that. That's on News 24. That's on ENCA.
Sakhuluma nje ngayo ipolitiki. I see ukuthi njengoba sikhuluma nawe, there's a problem we identify ukuthi people need to be educated when it comes to ukuvota kwabo, when it comes to democracy. Do you think IEC is doing enough? Because I think they should be the ones playing that role. Educate abantu ukuthi okay, ukuvota is not just ukuthi uvotele, because what we see these days abantu bavota ngesisu zabo, which is not looking at the bigger picture ukuthi sine future lesane ingane. What do you think ICC is lacking, or what more can they do ukuthi bafundise abantu about democracy, about the importance ukuthi kuhambe vote?
You know, asiqale ngokuthi not IEC kuphela, even government, they are not taking a project democracy as serious as they should take it. And unfortunately, if this project is not treated well, because if not treated well, ngelinye ilanga soba nendoda eyodwa ezovele ivuke ekuseni ibona wonke ama-radio station sisimphethe mase siqoqa ibhamu kuleyo. Do you know ukuthi i-democracy is not treated well? U-IEC ngalesikhathi engekho ama-election kufunza ube ubhizi ufundisa abantu nge-democracy, to enrich project democracy.
How about it's the lack of information?
But now, IEC, ngesikhathi engekho ama-election, IEC is on holidays. It's on holidays. That's why IEC will ask for staff on my election. It's look like IEC does not exist without elections. Of which akufunzile kanjani. Yakhumbula there was a show noma program okuthiwa ikhululeka eyayirana Joma Fela kuyo. Oh yeah. Yakhumbula leyo SABC 2. Yabo uma uzokhuluma ngaleyo program iyayifundisa about the entire democracy. Unfortunately, those programs to produce. So people, they don't understand democracy. You know, Guluris were manipulated a politician, you know, I'm gonna shut down your country, and they agree. Which you have to shut it down. They don't understand the implication of saying, if you shut down the country today, you shut down the country today, what will happen to Gogo Daisama fruit? What will happen?
What happens to the muntu obene interview ngalelo when you shut down the transport?
Lots shut down we can't. Una wonke ama avenue to raise view ya. Unendlela yokupetitiona, unendlela yokuyeParliament, une-voice eParliament, une-voice yokuthi alobhishe against that particular position, but he chooses to not do that and to use people and go and shut down the country that people needs. So it's all those things. It's a project democracy. And unfortunately, uma ngasithiwe umuntu owalimala ngalolala akazi ukuthi angamenza kanjani ba accountable to this particular individual, because this individual seems to be highly untouchable, because we seem to not understand his role on the democracy, because his role is just being a party. But democracy is not for parties. You need civic organization, you need NGOs, you need everyone to play parts in democracy. But unfortunately, we need currently, going to 2024, going to 2026, and other elections that we have, we need a proper civic organization on democracy and voting.
Nicely put. Yo, there's a lot that I want to talk about. But ngenxa yesikhathi, I think we can cut it short. Like, njengayo nje le yayi democracy, we need to speak more about it. Because abantu understand the reason why you kumele vote, the reason why you have to make that difference. Now, just to have a voice in it.
And I thought I had like a little bit of political education because I was thinking about it. Imagine there's a lot that I need to catch up on.
I think we should set aside the episode where you educate us. And ngibona like coming from umuntu onganganathi. It slaps different. Zwakala kangcono. Then umuntu ozoqhamukela namasude politician with fabricated words ngaphezulu yabo. Ugcina ungasaunderstand losing the concentration. But with him kuyazwakala yabo. He's speaking our language.
Yeah.
So nje Mr. Zuma ngiyajabula ukuthi sibe nawe lana, and ngiyathemba sisazokwenza imisebenzi eminingi kanye nawe because we also love what you do with the center yakho mfethu. Anything else you want to ask?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Mine, I will add a call to say if ngithi kuwena we started in 2007, that means this year we're turning 10 years.
No.
from 2013 we started to work with the government till now. We are turning 10 active years. So ours, working with you guys, I would really want us to look beyond, like literally, look beyond lip service. I would really want us to take our young people from a space where and make them being active citizens. Currently, kumina a friend when a young person on a Zanja building and I will not vote because many cars are between it. You know, it's all those issues.
I mean, also local music. There are some songs and artists and producers that I take my hat off. And I stream. Music now, especially on my laptop, it's just music. So because when I am hosting here, I let a person just play. Just do your thing. So I don't really download music. Mambo download and J to get but I stream because people need to get paid.
And I want to, they don't understand what it takes to like create music. You have to pay the producer, buy the beats.
And the internet made it worse though.
Yeah.
And they managed to find the money to get there.
To get the money.